There we go. Look at that. That's a nice place. It's a nice view. It's cool. Yeah, just got to a new place, and before I jump in the pool, I'm gonna go get something to eat and then go for a little bit of a DG session just to see what the area's like. See if the girls are nice in this area. Who knows? There's only one way to find out, and that's actually a digital product that I need to bring out. Is you don't just go to the highest flow area. You don't just go like, well, you can if you want. This is what every guy in that gets in the pickup and starts joining the groups. This is what they all do. They all just, everyone has this one street. It's like in Sydney. Everyone goes to George Street. They get into the groups and let's meet up at Town Hall, Queen Victoria Building, and we'll go for a DG session. It's one of the most common things. Actually, I was going to talk about a different topic, but now that I'm talking about this, it's something I might actually just expand on. I've been thinking about making a digital product on how you can choose the right place today game, because it does matter. It's not just about picking the area that has the highest volume. Like the guys from the London day game model, right? The British dudes. What you hear from them all the time is how they would hit George Street and one girl would walk down, I think it's George Street in London, and there'd be like 20 guys approach the same girl. If she's cute, every guy is going to be approaching her. By the time she gets to the end of the street, she's giving out just a whole bunch of fake numbers, basically. And also, like, if you're in an area where there's a large volume of people, and a lot of the people in that environment, they're kind of anonymous. So when you think about it this way, the highest flow, the most flow, the largest amount of volume of girls, it's not always the best area to be because, well, simplistically, I'm sure a lot of you guys have been to a country town where everybody in the country town talks to you. It's not really that they're friendly, and it's not really because they're nice. It's because they're afraid of getting a bad reputation from everybody else in the small town. So therefore, they're overly friendly when they're meeting acquaintances and saying hello to acquaintances. And, hello, g'day, and they tip their hat. They'll be driving late at night with the lights on, and they will still wave just in case you get you see the silhouette of them, and you want to know that they're waving at you, and they might tell somebody that you weren't waving at them or weren't being friendly. But in the center of the city, the likelihood of you bumping into the same person twice it's rare, and so therefore it's just human nature to be a little bit more rude to people who when you're anonymous, people tend to be a little bit ruder, and the girls tend to be a little bit ruder too to acquaintances. They don't feel the need or the social pressure to be on their best behavior all the time. And so therefore what happens is your hook rate is lower in some of those areas. Rude cities, one of the most famous rude cities in the world is New York. I've personally never been there, but I've heard that, the hook rate is quite low and people are quite rude. So basically, if you go to an area that's high flow, the people are very rude, your hook rate is going to be lower. So therefore, you're wasting a lot of time approaching large volumes of girls that don't necessarily hook. And therefore, and they're in a rush. They don't really appreciate you approaching them. That's another factor. Just the whole idea of you approaching a girl, they're supposed to kind of appreciate it at least a little bit. But in those environments where there's a lot of people, they just don't appreciate it at all. They see you as being annoying or like everybody else on the street trying to sell them something or bother them. And so therefore, the hook rate's low. You have to approach more just to get a hook. And then the ones that do hook, they're a little bit annoyed already with just strangers and acquaintances approaching them, and so the rate of success is generally lower. But you'll be surprised, a couple hundred meters from the busiest area, or even just a couple of blocks, there'll be a sweet spot where that same girl will walk down. I guess the classic example would be Times Square in New York, and everyone's kind of rude and not very friendly, the same as London in the center of the city. And the girl will walk down and just be super rude. But as soon as she gets a couple of blocks away from there, and it's a little bit quieter, there's still a lot of people around, but it's a little bit more of a friendly sort of environment, she's more likely to stop and talk to you and give you a real number and appreciate the approach. And so identifying that is something that has helped me to get a lot of good results over the years, by just identifying a sweet spot. And like just today, I've got two guys in a little bit of a group chat. I also had a coaching call as well, and I showed them the video of where I'm getting my breakfast. And I was getting my breakfast literally, it wasn't even 50 meters from the main sort of street, just off it. Whenever I would approach, literally on that corner or on that busy street, the girls are less likely to hook. Maybe it's a spotlight effect. There's a lot of people around. Maybe they're friends, or uni friends or work colleagues are more likely to see them being approached, and so therefore they're a little bit more on guard, and they don't want to be embarrassed in front of them. As soon as a girl would walk down this street, I would set up there. I'd have a vantage point, set up a vantage point, which is important. And immediately, the same girl that if I approached her on the main street, literally 50 meters from that spot, she turns down this street, which is still relatively busy, but there's more trees. It's a little bit quieter. It's a little bit chill. The footpath is a little bit larger. There's more freedom to roam. There's less hustle and bustle. The hook rate just increased by like 100%, and the numbers became solid. Next thing I know, I spent like a full day on the busy street, and then I was like, what's going on? I need to find a better area. Went just off that street, found a nice vantage point, and then next thing you know, like, I get all these solid numbers, and they're all responding, and they're all lining up. I actually met up with one last night, and so picking not only within the little city, but also if you have a full city, and this is what I'm planning on doing soon, is I hear a lot of guys haven't really cracked Poland, and I totally get why. Poland's apparently, people say that it's overfished, but what if everyone's fishing in one area, in the wrong area, right? So it's like Sydney, it's like Toronto, London, New York. There are sweet spots, and they might only be a couple of blocks from where you're approaching. The actual impact of the approach, the moment that you open your mouth, basically, and picking that exact spot to increase the hook rate and therefore increase your success. And first impressions last. It's important to make a good impression when you first meet a girl, and when it's too much impact and there's too many people around, and there's a spotlight effect, and she feels a little bit embarrassed because your positioning is off, all of those things matter, right? And so I'm seriously considering bringing out a digital product, because it's not there's nobody out there that has made that digital product. I guess because there's very few guys out there that actually know how to game. A lot of the coaches aren't actually gaming and living this life. I'm legit living this life. I need a shave, but first I need to go hit the streets, pump out a few approaches, get myself something to eat, have a little look around, see if I can get some success, maybe pull a girl back here for, I'm legit out here, approaching, getting rejected, dates, lays. I'm living this life. I'm not sitting behind a laptop, doing podcasts, pretending to talk about game. Oh my god, it's just unbelievable. But anyway, there's actually quite a few cuties around the pool, and that can be a little bit annoying, you know, like those two on the seats there, like approaching them is going to be a little bit difficult. Maybe if they stand up and, you know, like let's just say they're walking along here, I can ask them a question, right? Approaching them there is a little bit too rude. It's a little bit too rude, or draw too much attention to them. Maybe they'll be like, hang on, we're in the middle of a deep and meaningful. They might be in the middle of some sort of a conversation they don't want me to be a part of. But if, you know, maybe one of them gets up and maybe there's a stall down there, I don't know. Maybe there's, you know, there could be somewhere that they need to break away, and then I can approach one, and then I know she's got a friend, and then I'll go, oh, let me meet your friend. Next thing you know, oh, I've got a friend too. Message my wing. It's like, come on, quick, got a 2-set, double date. So positioning is everything, you know, and even just looking at this. But anyway, I'm thinking of making a digital product about that. I think it might be very valuable. Anyway, this is a beautiful spot. Damn, I can't wait to get out there and have a swim. I'm going to go do a little DG session now, because I really, really want to. I'll see you guys in the next video.